Washington has found their Lamar Jackson. The playmaking with his feet is spectacular, and automatically you're like, this team's going to contend for Super Bowls because of this young player. The passing, the timing of their pass game has gone up. Their zone read offense right now is
crazy.
You're getting like 5 yards a clip, and that's a bad play. They run the ball well with Brian Robinson. His connection with those receivers, he's unfazed.
Much later.
Are you going to be playing in the Super Bowl next year?
For sure.
For sure. If he's got anything to do with it, it's happening. It is happening.
100%.
Moments later.
When I seen Deebo with that ball in his hands at times last year, you know who he looked like? Deebo when he played All-Pro. That's what it looked like. So they can nitpick on a lot of different stuff with Deebo. Deebo's still a big-time player. And when the Commanders get him, and they get him with Jayden Daniels, because I'm speaking it into existence, and they get him with Jayden Daniels, it's going to be a problem trying to deal with Scary Terry, Deebo, and Jayden Daniels.
Correct!
Alert! Deebo Samuel has been traded to the Commanders. Hugh, when there's smoke, there's fire. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about how Deebo Samuel changes everything for the Commanders offense. With this trade happening, the Commanders are now expected to be major contenders in the NFC. Remember, all the Commanders gave up to acquire Deebo Samuel via trade was a 5th round draft pick. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Are the Commanders now the biggest threats to the Eagles in the NFC? I'm going to have to say yes to this question. Mark that down in pencil, not in pen, because there is still free agency, the draft, and other trades that may be occurring for other teams in the National Football League. The Commanders made it to the NFC Championship game last season, and they are getting even better on paper. I like this acquisition for the Commanders. This is essentially a no-risk trade whatsoever. I wonder why the 49ers even did this trade in the first place, because all they did was get a day 3 pick back for a former star receiver. Is Deebo Samuel the receiver that he once was in the past? Of course not. But Deebo Samuel is still a very capable wide receiver too. And with the Commanders having a quarterback on a rookie contract, who cares if a veteran wide receiver is overpaid? You have a quarterback on a rookie contract, which means you have to go ahead and make win now moves. Jayden Daniels has already proven that he is capable of being a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. When you have a quarterback that talented on a rookie contract, you have to make moves as the GM in order to acquire talent on the roster. Think about it this way. The Commanders got a 3rd round pick in exchange for Jahan Dotson, but they were able to acquire a former All-Pro wide receiver for just a 5th round draft pick. I understand that the Commanders gave up so little to acquire Deebo Samuel in a trade because of the contract that he has, but for the Commanders, this is essentially a no-risk move. Deebo Samuel counts $17.5 million against the cap for the Commanders, which again really doesn't mean a whole lot because they have a quarterback on a rookie contract. They were able to draft well in last year's draft, which means they can now be aggressive in trades and free agency. Deebo Samuel makes their offense a lot more explosive compared to last year on paper. He beats out a guy like Diami Brown. He beats out a guy like Noah Brown. He beats out a guy like Luke McCaffrey for the wide receiver 2 position. When we talked about the Commanders offense last season, what was considered the biggest weakness of the Commanders offense? Not having a second wide receiver alongside Terry McLaurin. That problem has been resolved now with Deebo Samuel on the Commanders. You also think about the play calling of Kliff Kingsbury and how he is able to generate yards after catch for receivers. Who's the yak king in the National Football League right now? Deebo Samuel. If you put the ball in Deebo Samuel's hands, he's going to be the ultimate playmaker, and he's going to find a way to make plays on the football field. If you don't believe me, you can go check out the tape that he put out during his prime on the 49ers. I understand that he had a down year last year, but guess what? Everyone on the 49ers had a down year. It wasn't because Deebo Samuel was a terrible wide receiver. It was because of the situation around Deebo Samuel. Now with Deebo Samuel on the Commanders, he's going to have a pretty good season as the wide receiver too. Am I expecting Deebo Samuel to get 1,500 receiving yards? Of course not. But do I expect him to win his one-on-one matchups and to help Terry McLaurin get one-on-one matchups? Of course, which means the trade was already beneficial for for the Commanders. I also want to show you guys this clip of Deebo Samuel calling James Bradberry trash. He clearly has a hatred for the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that he will be playing against twice a year now. I found his comments rather interesting. It was on the I Am Athlete podcast with Brandon Marshall, LeSean McCoy, and others. Roll the film.
Let me ask you this question. So Brandon Ayuk come out and say
He did.
what he said
That they was going to
gonna get exposed.
the Eagles defense. What was he saying about
yeah,
that?
where's the holes?
Yeah, right.
Where are the holes?
No.
There's
No,
holes.
what's the holes?
It was some
The
wide
back
open
end.
plays now.
The back end. You got the all-pro and the all-pro.
The D-line make him make both of them all pros.
You know, so
Besides Slay, I respect Slay.
what
That's
about
my dog.
Bradberry?
Trash.
Bradberry's trash?
We-
He the one that made the all-pro.
Did you see the play that Brandon had? The second play of the game, he got hurt. Purdy got hurt.
Time out.
The separation, like, it's just like.
It's football. You gonna make some plays?
Well, Deebo Samuel is going to need to channel some of that anger to the Philadelphia Eagles this year if he wants the Washington Commanders to be a very good team next year. I already think that the Washington Commanders could easily challenge the Philadelphia Eagles as the best team in the NFC East, even though the Eagles are coming off of an impressive Super Bowl win against the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys also have to remember that it is hard in the NFL to have sustained success, particularly in the NFC East division. No one in the NFC East division has ever won back-to-back division titles since the early to mid-2000s, which tells me there's a lot of parity within that division. With that being said, that means the Commanders have a golden opportunity to win their division in 2025, which I believe can genuinely happen. Jayden Daniels is already an elite quarterback, and he has only played 1 year in the NFL, but he has already transformed the Commanders into becoming major championship contenders, a sentence that I never thought I would be saying in my lifetime. Obviously, Jayden Daniels is the ultimate playmaker on the field. He's already won most clutch quarterbacks in the game of football, and with another weapon in his disposal, I expect the Commanders' offense to be even better in 2025. They already got Jayden Daniels at quarterback. They got Brian Robinson Jr. running the football. He's been pretty solid for them during his time on the Commanders. You also got Terry McLaurin, who's been one of the best wide receivers in the game, and now they got Deebo Samuel, who's going to be a very capable wide receiver too. Don't forget about Zach Ertz. He's one of the better tight ends in the National Football League as well, and you got the play calling of Kliff Kingsbury. Also remember that the Commanders are one of the most aggressive teams on fourth down, and not only that, they are better than basically every other team in the National Football League when it comes to converting fourth downs. This Commanders offense is going to be deadly in 2025. I can't wait to see what the Commanders offense is going to be putting up. They're going to be running a lot of trick plays for Deebo Samuel. Just get Deebo Samuel the football in his hands, and he is going to be a playmaker. The Commanders have playmakers on the football field right now. Jayden Daniels is a playmaker. Brian Robinson Jr. is a playmaker. Terry McLaurin is definitely a playmaker, and Deebo Samuel is definitely a playmaker. And when you shut down all those playmakers, guess what? A guy like Zach Ertz is going to be open in the middle of the field, which means the Commanders' offense is absolutely loaded. We all know Kliff Kingsbury is one of the best offensive lines in football, and I fully expect this Commanders' offense to play at an elite level in 2025. Deebo Samuel is going to make sure that happens, and he's going to find a way to make plays for the Commanders. We all know that Deebo Samuel is a wide receiver too. It's going to be one of the most dangerous wide receiver twos in the game of football. Jayden Daniels is already lethal. Expect him to get even better. He might even enter MVP conversations. The sky is the limit for the Commanders. I would not be surprised if they win a Super Bowl in the next decade. The future is bright for the Commanders. So that is why the Commanders are now the biggest threats to the Eagles in the NFC, as Deebo Samuel solves the wide receiver 2 issue for the Commanders offense. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.